Hey, ladies and gentlemen, last time we talked about the somatic senses, and today we're going to be talking about the special senses. Now, how are they different? The somatic senses uh, didn't really need much of anything. You just needed the nerve endings, like the mechanoreceptors in your hand. You would put pressure on, and they would feel the pressure, send a message to your brain. But your special senses need a little extra help, right? They're going to need some tools to help them out. For instance, sense of hearing. You don't actually have a sound receptor. What you have is another mechanoreceptor, pressure, because sound is a pressure wave going through the air. So you need a special tool to help you process that information in your ear. And the sense of sight, same thing. The photoreceptors aren't actually good enough to process the information. We depend way too strongly on sight. So we have our eyeballs that are going to help focus that light better so that we can see better. Without further ado, let's do further and jump into the notes. What are the special senses and the tools that they're using to work? We have the sense of smell, which uses something we call the olfactory senses, the sense of taste, which uses the taste buds. I'm sure you've heard of that. We have the sense of hearing and equilibrium. Both are utilizing your ears. That's right, your ears for equilibrium, balance. And no, I don't mean the things on the side of your head. I am referring to your inner ear, the organs on the inside. Then we have sight, which obviously uses your eyes. Today, we are only going to talk about the sense of smell and the sense of taste, and we will get to the other two in future notes. So, smell. The olfactory senses, we call them. This utilizes the receptors we call the chemoreceptors or chemical receptors. That's right, guys. The sense of smell is based on chemicals. So if you are smelling something, actual chemicals are entering your nasal passage, and you have chemoreceptors that pick that up. Like we mentioned in the vocab, if you are smelling something, then those chemicals are actually entering your body. So, how it works is underneath your brain, underneath the frontal lobes of your brain, you have a big nerve we call the olfactory bulb. This bulb is a group of neurons. So, it's not just one nerve, but it's actually a really large clump of nerve underneath your frontal lobe. And dangling down from that is a group of specialized chemoreceptors that are lining the walls of your nasal passage. So, as you breathe, those chemicals go in and it registers a change. You have a certain amount of chemicals in your nasal passage in the air, and then a new chemical comes in. It registers the difference. A brand new chemical has entered the equation, and then it will send a signal to your brain, in which case you now become aware that you smelled something. So, brand new chemical goes in, it sends a signal to your brain interprets that signal, and now you are aware of this chemical that is in the air. You are aware of it as a smell. So the sense of smell is actually pretty easy. The sense of taste is a little bit more complicated. It's not as straightforward as you think it would be. The taste receptors are also using chemoreceptors. They're going to be detecting chemicals dissolved in your saliva. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You don't actually taste the food directly. As you are chewing the food, the chemicals leach out into your saliva, and then you are tasting the chemical change in your own spit, not the chemicals that are directly in the food. So, how's that going to work? On your tongue, you have taste buds, but they are lining something called papillae. Papillae are a bunch of bumps on your tongue. We had two different kinds. This first kind you're seeing right now is not the taste variety. This is actually spiky kind of papillae that we use to grip our food, and then we can bring it to the back of our mouth, kind of like grip tape on your skateboard. But intermingled in with all those spiky papillae, we have these rounded, kind of donut shaped papillae as well. Those are the ones that we are using to taste with. If we look deep down in this little donut shape, we have these little bumps right here, these little yellow marks on this picture. Those are your taste buds. That's right, the papillae are not the taste buds. They are a structure that contains the taste buds, and they are deep down, which means we need to get the chemicals to seep into this crack. How's that going to work? Well, first thing you're going to do is chew your food and turn it into, a mashy pulp. And then as you're chewing it, the chemicals mixed in with your saliva are going to leach into these little spaces. So you need the liquid of your saliva to slide down with those chemicals. And those are the changes. That's what we are tasting. But that's only one step in the taste. Like I said, taste is a little bit more complicated than your sense of smell. See, taste is not flavor. I'll say that again. Taste is not flavor. This is actually a misconception here. Taste is actually very limited. We only have like five main taste sensations. We have sweet, like in the table sugar or candy, sour from the lemons, salty, as in table salt, bitter from your coffee, and savory from cooked meat, aged cheese, things like that. That's it. You understand what I just said, guys? Sweet is just that, sweetness. So if you're going to have vanilla ice cream, that's pretty sweet. If you're going to have strawberry ice cream, that's also sweet. But your taste buds only register sweet, not vanilla, not strawberry, just sweetness. So where does the flavor of vanilla or the flavor of strawberry come from if your tongue's not doing that? Cool thing here, guys, you're not tasting vanilla or strawberry. You're smelling it. That's right. The sense of taste is combined with the sense of smell. That's what we call flavor. Flavor is actually more complicated than that. Flavors are actually a combination of those five tastes, your sense of smell, texture. That's right, guys. Texture matters. You think pizza tastes good as a solid food, but if I were to put that pizza through a blender and give it to you as a smoothie, I don't think you would like it very much. And temperature. Soup is delicious. People don't tend to like cold soup. And spice. And spice is a separate thing, guys. Spice is not a flavor. Spice is not a taste. Spice is actually pain. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You have pain receptors in your tongue and you're going to utilize them to help enhance flavors. What spices typically are is not a chemical we are tasting as much as it is an acid that is causing a small amount of damage. And that is the spiciness we are feeling, actual damage to our tongue. And the spicier the food, the more damage we are causing, which is why if you're going to be handling some of the more, let's say, dangerous peppers, like the ghost pepper, you should be wearing gloves. If you get that stuff in your eyes, you got to go to the hospital because it's an acid that's going to cause actual damage. You combine all of those together, and that is taste. At this point in normal class time, I would actually have some drinks to come in, and we would do a blind taste test. We would start off with our five tastes, and you would pinch your nose so that you can't smell any of it, right? And you take a shot of, what's it called? Beef stock, and you would only tell that it was savory, but you wouldn't be able to tell if it was beef or chicken or what. Or if I gave you a soda, you would tell that it was sweet, but you couldn't tell if it was Sprite or cola or whatever. Okay, but since we can't do that virtually, I'm going to suggest you guys do that on your own just for the fun of it. You know, set up five sodas and have a sibling, pinch their nose and take a shot and see if they actually can tell what it is. Then vice versa, have your sibling kind of switch them around. You close your eyes and you take a drink and then see if you can tell with your nose shut which one you're having. Then you'll see with your nose unpinched, you have a much better chance of being able to guess what that flavor is. All right, guys, so that is it for today. Next time, we're going to go into the sense of hearing and we'll talk about your ears. So until then, enjoy your day and I will see you in class.